I know that the Passion itself is a sermon. What I like to do today is, because I see a lot of children, to walk to the stations. And we are going to see how the life of Jesus ended at the very end of the journey to the way of the cross, which is the way of each one's life. We see in the first station here, Jesus be condemned. How many times you and I has been condemned, sometimes unjustly, because people think, or people say, or people, they don't care for you, and they begin to act and say things about you. How many times the cross of life can be heavy? Sometimes a sickness in the family. Sometimes somebody lost his job. Sometimes even separation. Sometimes even relationship that we don't sometimes have. How many times we fall because of the human nature. Each one of us, as we read in the gospel, the spirit is willing, but the nature is very weak, and believe me that. You don't trust this nature because you will be sorry. And we see there Jesus fall to teach each one of us that the way to heaven is the way of the cross. And sometimes we have to really experience the weakness of sin in order to experience Jesus, our Redeemer. We encountered Jesus with his mother. How many times, we have young people today that because, they mess around, they are among other people and they are among their peers. They feel that their parents are the old-fashioned people, they don't know nothing. And the way they talk to them, the way they act against them. Remember Jesus, how much embarrassed he was to see his own mother have to undergo this heavy cross, especially the embarrassment, the pushing, and even seeing him in that distress. The fifth station is the journey of each one of us. How many times God sent those angels in our life to help us. People who really comes, from nowhere. They come especially at time of death, at time of sickness, and they are there with us to help us to really endure the cross that sometimes can be heavy on our shoulders. There are people too that they don't care what people think or what people are going to say because they associate themselves with us. And like Veronica, which her name comes very easy, Vera, Icon, the true image of Jesus, how many times we true? Because of those people who really don't care what people say about them, they come to our rescue. Again, Jesus reminds us of the weakness of the flesh. And we too, because of vice, sometimes because of alcohol, sometimes because of drugs, sometimes because of other things, abusive that we are, sometimes we fail. We want to do good, but there is something within us, as St. Paul said, that really make us do things that are not proper. The woman of Jerusalem crying over Jesus. How many people feel sorry for us? But they are bystanders, they are there. To feel sorry for me is good, but by being sorry for me, you're not going to help me. And that's why Jesus said, cry not for me, but cry for your own children, because you are the one who rejected the one that the Father has sent. And that's what Jesus is saying to us. Cry not for me because I died on that cross, because that was the will of my Father. Cry for your sinfulness. Do something about it. Return to the sacrament of penance. Make sure you have a relationship with my Father, because that is going to cost you eternal salvation. Jesus can fall under the heavy cross. And that reminds us that Jesus was not only God, but human. Although he was God from all eternity, but he was clothed with this humanity. And believe me that tonight, with flagellation, the crowning with thorns, the carrying of the cross, the beating that he gets on the way to Calvary, Jesus fell again and again for the third time. And that reminds us that the world will do what we celebrate today. Hosanna, they will clap at you. But a few days later, they will betray you. The same people. And that is the experience of each one of us. All of us have in our life Palm Sunday and Good Friday. Day to day they exalt you. You do something that goes against their wishes and they will crucify you. And that's why you say, crucify him, crucify him. Why? Because that's what the world do. Whether you like it or not, you can be Mother Teresa, you can be John Paul, because everyone fights faults with you. Then we see Jesus again arrive on Calvary, and there he has to experience the most of all humiliation. Remember, from all titles that they give him, from all the slander they gave him, they never said that Jesus was impure. And when he was on that hill of Calvary, and they take the tunic off him, with his mother present, imagine what a humiliation, his mother present, and she looks at him naked. The church brings Jesus with a piece of sash around his waist, but they took everything of him to identify that a Jew has betrayed them. And because of circumcision, they want to show that he was one of them who is now a traitor. Jesus now was asked to lay on the ground while they tied his hands to the cross and put the spikes in his hands and feet. Imagine that divine Son of God, without nothing that he had done, he has to undergo that humiliation. Either in the 11, even at the 10 and 11 is our life too. How many times we're embarrassed in front of people who say things that really are not really true. Sometimes they send them in front of our superiors. Sometimes they do it behind our back through letters and phone calls. Sometimes through gossip. And how many times they crucify us. And sometimes we have nothing to do but to go along with their crucifixion. Jesus at the 12th station there is alone on Calvary. He is alone on Calvary, nailed and raised between heaven and earth for our salvation. How many times we too are really abandoned by our own family. Sometimes you have family of 3 and 4, a mother and a father. The father died, and because of some inheritance, stupid inheritance, the brothers does not talk to each other, the sister against the brothers, they don't even visit the mother because the will of the father was such that he favored or did something. How stupid we are. It's like we are going to take everything with us. Say, Father, that's my inheritance you are talking. Yeah. Do you know that heart attack will send you where your father is too?